Okay. Well, just remember to breathe. It's okay to pause and to think about stuff, and if you need any help or anything like that, let us know. Do y'all have any questions before we get started, including Grace? Do you have any questions before we get started?
I don't think so.
I don't think I do either.
Well, this should be a lot of fun. And y'all should be, if you haven't heard it enough already, you should be very proud of what you've been able to accomplish, because it is outstanding.
Air fist bumps.
Yeah, air fist bumps. So
You don't like bumps, right? I don't like hand greetings.
Oh, fair enough. Hey,
Rachel, I'm
right.
sending you good vibes.
Okay.
So did everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
Yes,
I
ate lots
did.
of potatoes.
Yeah.
The one vegetable you will eat.
No, I will be going to. There's a celery in the stuffing. And carrots. Carrots are vegetables too.
Okay, my audio just cut out.
They might have they didn't mute it. I just can't hear. They might have muted their microphone. Well, it froze.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it didn't freeze. Oh, he's muted.
No.
Are you able to see on theirs if they're muted?
They're not muted. I just can't hear. And I don't know if they can hear me or not.
All right, then try saying. Do you want me to say?
Oh, I'm not muted. So.
Grace can't hear you guys anymore, so I don't know if you're muted or if she just lost sound.
You're muted, so you're muted. Hey, Grace, you're muted. We can hear you. It worked.
I think she can't hear us.
Okay, I can hear you guys again now, so I'm not sure what happened because
Okay.
he just went out for a second and just came back. So.
We're muted. The dog and pony folks, the behind the scenes people are muted. Is that what I'm saying? Perfect.
We're muting you so your idle conversation doesn't go out live.
Oh, okay. Okay. So nobody can hear us talking about sweet potato pies right now.
Okay.
All right, so it's not.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, that's good to know. Maybe I'll fill that up. Should have given you a PSA water bottle. Mhm.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Bsa Big Give Day. It is a 12-hour celebration of scouting here in the Mid-America Council, and it is kicking off our annual giving campaign, which helps to fuel programs and instill values in our young people today, and to help scouts find their path in life through our scouting adventure. My name is Daniel Kilby, and I'll be your moderator for this hour. I am very blessed to be a part of our first class of female Eagle Scouts. So all of our audience is aware, this will be a live question and answer session. So if you have questions where you're watching this live, either Facebook or YouTube, feel free to drop your questions there and we'd be happy to answer them just as soon as we can. So without any further ado, I would like our female Eagle Scouts to introduce themselves. If you could give your first name, your unit, the grade you are in school, in just a brief overview of your Eagle project, we'll go ahead and get this started.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, my name is Eliana, and I am a freshman in college. I am from Troop 1885 from Omaha, Nebraska, and my Eagle Scout project was a supplies drive that where I collected cooking and cleaning supplies for a local organization to help youth transferring out of foster care.
My name is Rebecca. I'm from Troop 1885 as well. And I'm a freshman in college. And my Eagle project was to build planter boxes for an organization called the Friendship Program, which helps people with mental disabilities and senior citizens achieve independence in their lives.
Hello, my name is Rachel Lunn. I'm also part of Troop 1885, which is based out of Omaha, Nebraska. My Eagle project was I built cat stands for the Nebraska Humane Society to benefit cats and kittens coming out of adoption. Yes.
Wonderful. And Grace.
Hello, my name is Grace. I'm from Troop 308, which is also based out of Omaha, Nebraska. I'm a senior in high school, and my Eagle project is a book drive to benefit recovering substance abuse mothers and their children at Rosecrans-Jackson Women and Children Center.
I forgot my grade. I'm a junior in high school.
Oh, a junior in high school. Thank you so much for catching us up on that. Well, thank you all so much for taking your time to be with us here on our Bsa Big Give Day. And so some of the questions, these will be geared more toward individuals. So we'll go ahead and start with Eliana. What about the Scouts BSA program appealed to you? Why did you choose to join this over other programs?
Well, I actually was a Girl Scout for a very short period of time in elementary school, and it really didn't benefit me very much. It was much more of a social activity than it was an activity where I really learned and grew a lot in. And so obviously that didn't last very long. And so for the next, several years, I was not involved in scouting whatsoever. And then Scouts BSA started letting in female scouts, and becoming members I'm not speaking very well.
Hey,
Becoming
okay.
members of part of in troops and such. And so it appealed to me because it was this really cool opportunity in a realm of, ideas that I was not very familiar at all with. And it really offered a really cool opportunity for me as a person to grow and learn more about, nature, and to spend time with my friends and my sister and learn more how to be a teacher. And yeah.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. So this next question, this one is for Grace. Grace, during your time in the Scouts BSA program, what is one important lesson that you've learned from participating?
I've learned a lot about leadership as a whole. I'm not usually a very outgoing person. I'm not the person who would take charge right away. And so through scouting, you really learn like how you fit into a leadership role and how you can use your skills to help guide others. And I think that's probably the most important thing that I've learned.
It is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, so this next question is for Rachel. Rachel, when joining Scouts BSA, what was your expectation of joining the program, and then what did that translate to? What was the reality that you experienced?
Okay, I feel like I was asked this exact same question on my board, and my answer was I didn't really have any expectations. I went into Scouts kind of blind, and I didn't really know what to expect, and it just kind of evolved from there. I guess expectations grew as I moved through the program.
Very good. Thank you so much. And then our final question for now is, this one is for Rebecca. How do you feel that your experience in the Scouts BSA program will impact you in your future and throughout your life?
So I think there are a couple different ways. First off, as I'm a student and as I look forward into my career, I truly think that scouting has helped me understand hard work, perseverance, important skills like that. I want to research genetics as they relate to human medicine, which requires a PhD. So I will definitely need a lot of perseverance and hard work to get to that point. But also I think scouting has made me a better person. I'm a better friend, sister, daughter to my family. And I think someday that it will make me a better spouse and parent.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. So now we're going to kind of get into a little bit more specifics, kind of talking about your trail to Eagle. And I'd like to start with the Scout Oath and Law. So the Scout Oath, as we all know, it's on my honor. I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. So for anybody who's wanting to jump in on this question, can you tell me what the Scout Oath means to you and where it finds its importance in your life?
I think the Scout Oath to me really solidified my views on myself when I first joined the program. Obviously, I joined at a later age, at 16, which is much later than basically everyone else who was doing Scouts. And so while I already had sort of that foundation sort of laid down, I think learning the Scout Oath really solidified it in how I live it out in my life. And it's succinct, it's eloquent, and overall just structures it in a way that I'm able to follow through with it better. And that was really helpful for me, particularly getting through the rest of my junior and senior year, because it really helped me like figure out who I was and figure out what I want to live my life by.
I really liked what you said there, Eliana, about the foundational skills that that you find as you're growing up. Our character is being molded by those that we have around us, and that we shape by being around and those who are around us. And so, this next question regarding the Scout Oath is: if everyone in your school were to follow the Scout Oath, what kinds of differences do you think you would see versus just the students you see on a regular basis?
I want to jump in, and so I I go to University of Wisconsin-Madison, which is a school of 50,000 people. So if 50,000 people suddenly decided to start, living by the Scout Oath and Law, I think we'd see a lot of good come out of that. I don't know if you've said the Scout Law. Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so the Scout Law is: a Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. So if 50,000 people were all of those things, I think the university would be able to stop worrying about plagiarism, which I hear about every single test. But in a broader sense, there would be less fighting, less, I don't know how to best explain this. I think that Wisconsin would see a lot of good, and then as these 50,000 people go off and move and get jobs, I think the rest of the United States would see a lot of good come of it.
Love it. Thank you so much. So this is a perfect transition into the Scout law. I was speaking with somebody earlier in the year, and they told me something that really impacted me significantly. The three most important words in the Scout law, and Rebecca, you said them, is a Scout is, not a Scout should be, or it would be nice if a Scout was. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And so having this being a part of your daily lives, how has having these words, these foundational words, as a part of not only being a Scout, but moving forward over the past 2 years, how has it impacted your lens of how you view the world around you?
Rachel, Grace, do you want to take this one?
I guess, okay. So I feel like everyone expects everyone to be the best person they can be. Every time we meet someone, we just expect them to be a good person. We expect them to live by kind of what we live by. But like when you live by the Scout Oath and Law, you start to learn that we're just trying our best. Everyone's different. Everyone lives with a different code, a different set of morals. And all of those, they all may be the same adjective, but they apply to people differently. And everybody, it's learning how to live with everyone's different set of morals, and learning how to be the best people, not as everyone just living by the same way, but learning how to apply differences to a greater community.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It certainly does. Thank you so much for your insight. So this question will be for Grace. Which part of the Scout law is the hardest to follow?
I think probably cheerful, because it can be so easy to let like one negative thing affect your entire outlook on the rest of the day, a certain event, whatever. And a lot of the other points of the Scout law are like, they're highlighted in many different scenarios, but I feel like cheerful gets kind of overlooked sometimes. When we think about how looking at the world with more of a positive mindset can really amplify your experiences and make your life just easier in general.
That's very good. Thank you so much. So this one we actually got from one of our viewers, Ryan, would like to know what is the funniest story that you've experienced in your scouting career?
Oh God.
So I don't know if Eliana's got one ready to go, but even if you wanted to reflect on it, we could come back, and then maybe you could just raise your hand if you've got a funny story, unless somebody's got one that they want to share.
Rachel looks ready.
Okay.
So in June of 2019, we went on this camp out, and we were just playing cards, and all of a sudden there were these chickens.
No,
and there were these
that story.
There were like 4, and they just started. It was awful. One
Why
of them.
did you put this under funny?
It's not part of it's fun. I don't know. It was
So chickens
awful.
came out of nowhere, and it was totally unexpected.
It was unexpected, and they just started dying. Like,
Oh,
it was
no.
awful.
Oh no!
And then I remember waking up Sunday morning, and I look, and I'm waking up, and I hear chirping, and I look, and I unzip my tent flap, and there's a chicken. And it was so odd, and I don't.
Hey, sometimes things don't go the way that we expected them to, which definitely leads us into our next section of just leadership. So we know that in becoming an Eagle Scout, it takes different times invested in different leadership positions. So this one will be for Rebecca. Can you tell me about the importance of learning about leadership at such a young age and how that could benefit our young people in the future?
I would just say leadership is a skill. It takes practice. You have to learn it. And I've definitely spent the last 2 years making a lot of progress on my leadership. And there's still so much more to learn, to practice, to do. And I think the younger that you start learning how to become a leader, the better leader you'll end up being. So you get these 11-year-olds joining the program, and once you teach them the skills, they start teaching other people. That's right there. They're 12, 13. They're learning leadership, and that will show when they get older. And I think that's super important.
That's great. So this next one will be for Grace. So can you tell me some of the positions that you held in your home troop that you had to hold for at least 6 months? And can you tell us some of the things that you'll take away from that time in those positions?
So I was actually our troop's first senior patrol leader, and I think a lot of my learning from that came from trial and error, because it was a first. Our troop was figuring out how to be a troop just in general. I'm trying to figure out how to lead. And so it kind of, my main takeaway from that would be that I have to think of my words. I guess not to shy away from taking initiative and stuff, because if nobody knows what they're doing, then somebody still has to make a decision. So you have to kind of push away your fears a little bit and be like, okay, we're going to make a plan. It might not be perfect, but we can't improve on our plans for the future if we don't start somewhere. So
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. So this question will go to Eliana. So we like to mention that scouting is a safe place to fail. Sometimes things don't go the way that we thought they were originally. Can you tell me a time when something didn't go the way that you thought and how you were able to work through that?
Well, there is a couple of things that come to mind. And I think the one that I'm going to go with is in summer camp of 2020. Obviously, this summer camp was significantly different than any of the other summer camps that had happened previously. It was also my personal first summer camp, even though I'd been in the program for a good year-ish at that point. And it was really interesting because it was a constant section area where I was really able to okay, I forgot to add context. I was senior patrol leader at my first ever summer camp. And so it was a very interesting place for me to learn how to be a leader and how to constantly be a leader. For example, there was one instance where there was a storm that night, and it was my job to make sure that everyone was in the storm shelter safe and sound. But it was also a really personal journey for me because I am not a big fan of being alone for a variety of reasons. And so just sleeping in a tent alone is something that was very hard for me to do. And so that area of just being able to fail and working through being a leader as senior patrol leader in such unusual circumstances really helped me to flesh out my skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I add
Sometimes,
something, Ray? we joke in Troop 1885 that there's a 13th point to the Scout law.
Yes.
A Scout is flexible.
Yeah, that is our unofficial motto.
Hey, that is outstanding. And sometimes failure is the best teacher. It's important to glean the lessons that we can get from those, because you will be able to carry them throughout the rest of your lives. So this last one on leadership, this one is for Rachel. Can you share with us some of your leadership lessons when it came to your Eagle Scout project? What kinds of things did you experience that were unique to that process?
I guess it was my personal process. I don't like asking for help. I feel like I just feel like an inconvenience, and I don't like bothering people. And I remember I was working on the plan. I had my proposal approved, and I was working on the plan, and I just sat there and I had no idea what I was doing. I felt so lost. And I guess one of the biggest lesson was to just ask for help, was to just, just ask for help. And then at the day of the project, like there was this just huge sense of satisfaction. Like I saw my troop working on something that I'd spent a good amount of time planning and stuff like that. And it just proves that you just need to ask for help. And a lot of people don't do that. And I don't do that. And I need to do that. So I did that. And it worked out.
Well, congratulations. It's not always easy to do that. And so thank you for having the courage to do that and to be able to take those lessons away with you. So I see with all of our panelists up front that you are wearing a significant amount of merit badges on your sash. And as most folks know, and for those who might not, in order to earn your Eagle Scout rank, you have to earn a required 21 Eagle merit badges. You have some others that you can earn on as optional, but of the 150 plus merit badges that we have, 21 must be earned by every single Eagle Scout. So this question will be for Eliana. What was the most challenging of the 21 Eagle required merit badges for you?
Ooh. I
Definitely use your sash for inspiration.
yes, I am using my sash for inspiration. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say personal fitness, because I'm an active person. I'll give it that, but it was the tracking that was super hard for me to do, and I had to restart it multiple times because I forgot to test myself, and then I restarted it, February-ish 2020, when I had a gym class that was oh so convenient until it wasn't. And so that was probably the most challenging for me, is learning to adapt on the fly and making sure that I was tracking and writing down everything that had happened in those months.
Yeah. Yep, tracking was something I struggled with on my road to Eagle as well. But it will certainly help you keeping on down the road. This question will be for Grace. Of the 21 merit badges that you earned, did any of them really stick out to you as being like a fan favorite or something of that nature?
I mean, I kind of want to say swimming just because it's easy, but actual, like, content-wise, I think communications probably stuck out to me the most because it was one of the most difficult for me because I don't really like giving speeches to people. But it was also very helpful because that was something I needed to work on and overcome. So I think communications really stood out to me as just a really good life skill to have.
Yeah. Well, I remember taking the swimming merit badge, and it was not easy. So bravo for you for being able to just knock that one out of the park. So this question will be for Rachel. So there are 21 Eagle required merit badges now. If you could pick another of the merit badges that are optional now but would be an Eagle required in the future, which one would you pick and why?
I don't. I feel like that depends on who you're asking because everyone thinks that that different things matter. Like, I don't really know. I feel like the ones that are required kind of are, good enough. I feel like once we get the next Eagle required in 2021, that badge, once that gets included, I think we'll be set.
Okay.
But there's always room to improvise and look over badges. But I think that certain topics that are required I believe they're good enough. So.
I love it. Thank you for the introspection on that answer. It really hits home for me. I was told once of an Eagle Board of Review where someone was going after his Eagle Scout at that time, and they said, because y'all have been through your Board of Review, and I remember mine, pretty intense, and we've done so much work, we've gotten to this point, and this is the last chance that we have before we receive the award that we had all worked so hard on. And they had said that we had just heard from National, and they were talking about the 12 points of the Scout Law, and we need to remove just one of these 12 points. And they said that this person was really thinking super hard and said, it just can't be done. It's all very foundational. It's all, to use Eliana's words, succinct. It's all very foundational in here. And so you need to let folks know that we've got to keep it as it is because it's just so important. And then they had said, well, if you could add an additional to that, what would it be? And he said, a scout is hungry, because scouts are always loving the outdoor cooking. So the last question, this one will be for Rebecca. Of the Eagle required merit badges that you've earned, which one do you feel will be the most helpful for you later on down the road in the future?
I'm not sure if I can pick just one. I was thinking about this a little bit. If I could pick two, I would say personal management, because keeping track of money and budgeting is especially important for me right now as a college student. And once I become completely financially independent, then it will be even more important. And then cooking, because as the scout said, a scout is hungry.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're actually getting a lot of questions from our viewers specifically on merit badges. So Tracy is asking if you could create a merit badge, what would it be? And this will be for anybody. Perhaps there's a hobby or something like that, but if you could create a merit badge, which one would it be?
Got it. I got it. I think we all have one.
Okay,
We
I
all
love
have
it. I love
one.
it.
Yeah.
A math badge.
A math badge.
Math.
Okay.
I would earn it.
I would do it.
Okay. Math.
Rebecca
Awesome.
and your Calc 3.
I didn't take Calc 3.
Okay.
If it were me, I would create a language learning badge, maybe as an add-on to communication or public speaking. I mean, there are the interpreter strips, but I feel like if we have the interpreter strips is like just the basics, conversational speaking, but then special recognition for more advanced speakers. Or a biology badge. There's a chemistry badge, but as a biology nerd, I think there should be a biology badge.
That's good.
I personally think there should be a sewing merit badge because I think that is an incredibly valuable skill to learn in general. So I personally think having a merit badge for it would encourage more people to learn about this very valuable skill that has saved me multiple times at my speech tournaments.
I love it.
I feel like a caveat to that badge should be like you can't use it or you can specifically get it by sewing on all your patches.
Ooh.
That's what I did.
That would be good. That would be good. Grace, do you have a merit badge that you would like to see one day?
I was actually thinking along the same lines of like the language learning merit badge as well. Like, it's cool to be able to see about different languages, different cultures type things. I think there should be more of that in scouting.
I love it. So we have another question from a separate Tracy. Do you have brothers in the program, and are they competitive with you in earning merit badges or anything?
I have a younger brother. He's 15. He also just did his Eagle project. Has not done his board yet. As far as competition with merit badges, no, he is not as competitive as I am. I think he has somewhere in the 30s. I forget. I have 102.
My family is a little bit unusual. We have 2 twin girls in the program, and then the only boy there, my younger brother, is not interested whatsoever. So it was really kind of out of left field for me and my twin to come and join Scouts.
That's so good.
I have 2 older brothers, one of them who is an Eagle and another one who, decided scouting isn't really for him. So they weren't really competitive about it. I just say that I beat my other brother because I got farther than him, but
Hey, that's great. That is great. So we'll do one more from our audience, and then we'll move on to the next section. But as far as just one of the most memorable ones, because naturally we've got the 21 Eagle required merit badges, and Rebecca, did you say 102
Yeah.
that you've
102, yes.
Oh my goodness. So what would you say is the most memorable merit badge that you've earned? And this could be for anybody.
I think for me personally, it was probably either metalworking, just because blacksmithing is super cool. And that was one of the ones I did at summer camp, or swimming. I really enjoyed swimming, and because I did a program so early on with several other members of my troop, like Rebecca, for example, I got to bond a lot with the different members of my troop, and that really created some really lasting memories and friends.
I have a lot. I'd say the first one is engineering, which I did at a merit badge clinic. And the person who ran that clinic, who ran engineering, was super cool. And so for engineering, you have to do a couple different experiments. So we got to take some things apart. We also got to calculate, using data collected by the merit badge counselor, how tall theoretically you could get a Lego tower of different kinds of blocks. So 1 by 1, 1 by 2, 2 by 2, etc. how tall theoretically could you get a Lego tower before the bottom brick fails? And over a mile was the answer. And I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
The second one is wilderness survival, because I got to go out. I did this one with Ellie's sister. So we went out, we built our own little shelter. It was tiny, but it worked. And all the centipedes fell on Abby and not me. And I'd say my third one is dentistry, because I took that one as an online class during quarantine, and I thought it was super well run. I learned about why we brush our teeth. Nobody ever tells you why, just that you have to. So I learned about that, and I thought that was super fascinating because there's lots of biology that goes into it. And as I have said, I'm a biology nerd.
I love it. So just so we're able to stay on time, we have about 5 minutes left. We have a lot of incredibly great questions coming in, so thank you all so much for that. But in terms of earning your Eagle, Grace, this question will be for you. So how does it feel to have achieved this rank, that you are a part of a real historic change, and how does it feel now being an Eagle Scout?
Kind of amazing, because it's like, it was just, well, for a while when I was growing up, like, it wasn't even an option, because I'm watching my brothers go through scouting and like, oh, when I'm 14 I can join Venture Crew. But then once it was available to me, it was like, oh, this is actually a thing. And then now it's kind of happening, and it's like, just kind of a lot to process, because it was a lot of my life growing up, and now it's coming to an end, and now I can kind of be like, I'm in a position where I can be a role model to people like me when I was younger. That's kind of cool, kind of scary, kind of fun, lots of different things.
Absolutely. And so so we will ask one question of each of our remaining panelists. And so this next one will be for Rachel. What will you take away? What is one of the takeaways from this whole experience in the Scouts BSA program that you'll carry with you on into the future?
Well, there's the obvious ones, like leadership, communication, and all that stuff. But when it comes, I guess, like deeper and personal, I guess, like how amazing like a group of people are when they're empowered and motivated and all this stuff. This program for a very long time, over 100 years, was just for boys. And there's this group of girls, they were also motivated and all so willing to go the extra mile, prove everyone wrong. And, they were willing to take the extra hike, and it was absolutely amazing. So it just shows you how amazing a group of people is when they're all so motivated and also empowered.
That is awesome. Eliana, this question will be for you. What advice would you give to a Life Scout who is currently on their road to Eagle?
I think part of this is just a little bit of my perspective, having gone through so many of the steps of the program so fast in a way. But there are two things that I would recommend. And the first one is do the extra mile. Getting the Eagle and having that satisfaction of being an Eagle Scout was incredible. And it is a feeling and a night that I will remember for a lifetime. It is one of my most precious memories, is learning that I was an Eagle Scout, to be very fair. Where was I gonna go? Yeah, go the extra mile and savor your experiences. You have already done, quite frankly, a lot of the work to get to where you are. You don't have, for me at least, I don't have a lot of the program left. I mean, I'm an Eagle Scout, and I am 18, and I will graduate in February when my extension is up. I was only in here for 2 years. And so savor the memories that you will make because of the program, because they are incredible. And I wish I had been able to join earlier.
That's great. So this next question is for Grace. And do we have time for 2 more questions? Oh, okay. So so this one is for Grace. If there is something you'd like to say to a girl who is interested in joining Scouts BSA but hadn't made the jump, what would you let them know?
I guess I tell them to, just go for it. There's so many different aspects to scouting, and I mean, there's the outdoor skills, there's the friendships, the relationships you make. There's all just the life skills in general, and I've never had any sort of program, I've never heard of any sort of program or anything like this that gives you a strong, good life foundation. So
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And the last question for Rebecca would be, if you could sum up your entire scouting experience in one word, what word would you choose?
Oh my goodness. There's so many different ways to go with this. I can't choose just one word. It has to be a full-on phrase.
Okay.
The experience of a lifetime.
The experience of a lifetime. Well, I would like to, on behalf of Mid-America Council and the BSA Big Give, thank you so much to all of our panelists for being a huge part of this. You are a part of history, and our history as well as history of scouting. I'd like to encourage our viewers to continue tuning in throughout the rest of the day. Every hour on the hour, we are going to have opportunities to hear some wonderful stories and to find ways of supporting the scouting adventure here locally. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you at the top of the next hour.